I also want to say that Scott is a very good friend of mine. I love him dearly. So if he's mean to me, you guys, this is how we talk to each other. Okay. Scott's kind of a bully. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just how he is. We're going to let you get behind the curtain a little bit to Scott Taylor. I'm just
Just
kidding.
with my favorite people, I mean.
Yeah. No, man, I'm appreciative of doing this podcast. I think this is probably the 4th or 5th podcast we've done, and I'm excited to dive in a little bit. Now,
Yeah.
uh, Scott, to Denver locals would know his bike shop, which was legendary, Salvagetti. He parlayed that into a successful career as an entrepreneur and launched the Lyft cargo bike, which then became the Argo cargo bike. And we're
Right.
gonna talk a little bit about a new product that he's got coming out. He's also got a company called Go Bike Go that is cooking as well. So let's just dive in a little bit, Scott, and bring us up to date with where your projects are right now. And if somebody wants to get involved, like what they can do to help out.
Well, let's see. I just want to correct one thing, and that is Go Bike Go is not cooking. Go Bike Go is in a positive change. We're trying to figure out a way to help the bike industry, and the bike industry is hurting pretty badly right now.
It's
Um,
marinating, we'll say, which is a form of
yeah,
cooking.
it's marinating. Yeah, and it's a form of strategy, right? To hibernate for a bit and see where to go. But
Cool.
yeah, the Argo has been a heck of a process between starting it before the pandemic and watching what was happening with the pandemic, and then having to sort of look at the tea leaves and talk to lots of people. And actually, I was supposed to take a trip in February of 2020 to a trade show in Taiwan. And Taiwan, um, for the first 3 or 4 years of the pandemic, or 3 years of the pandemic, they only had 3 total cases.
Yeah.
So they weren't letting any Americans in as of February. So pretty interesting start.
And to describe the Argo Cargo, this is the world's first cargo bike accessory for bikes. So it's to say that you can turn your bike into a cargo bike, and specifically, I think the style is called Bach feet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right with my Colorado accent, but basically,
Oh,
it's the cargo bike where the cargo is up front. You have your tire, you got the cargo, you got your handlebars, and you're running with your bike like that. All right, let me ask you, when was the last time you really relaxed? And I mean like fully check out, mind and body, and just chilled out. If you're drawing a blank, it's time to check out SamanaFloat.com. Samana is this incredible float studio right here in Denver. You step into a private pod with warm, silky water and just let the stress slip away. No distractions, no deadlines. You just float effortlessly in total peace. It's like a vacation for your mind. And here's the thing, it's not just about relaxation. Floating can help you with recovery, focus, even creativity. Whether you're an athlete or an entrepreneur or just somebody who needs to slow down, that's basically all of us. Check out SamanaFloat.com for their Denver and Fort Collins locations. Book your first session. Seriously, you will thank me. Check out SamanaFloat.com. You'll float out feeling like a new person. Now back to the show.
correct. Yeah. I said Bach feet, and I had someone from the Netherlands yell at me. It's Bach feet, which directly
Well,
translates into box bike. Yes.
oh,
So you don't have to be yelled at. I'm being nice. I'm not being mean. Um, Yeah, so essentially for the Argo, you're installing one piece on the frame, and then everything else works with what you already have. And then you're able to carry 150 pounds in front of you, and It's life-changing, like getting to talk to your children or having your dog right there or, just being able to throw your groceries in and zip around.
You launched with a Kickstarter to great success, and I think
Yes.
I might have had the first purchase. All
You
things
you were
disclosed,
you were in the top 3.
this is the
My
top
friend
3,
Nick in Seattle, he
the
was
number 1.
number 1. Yeah.
Nice. I've been riding this thing forever, and I
Yes.
absolutely love it, and I can tell other folks out there that are bike enthusiasts, or parents. Now, if and
Yes.
I'm speaking directly to dads, this is like this is like black belt dad kinda gear right here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, yeah.
you drive the Argo to I live over by Sloan's Lake. You ride the Argo to Sloan's Lake, and every dad in there, it's like slow motion. They're like, "What is that?" You
They
got your
know
kid up front.
outdad outdadded.
Yeah. You got your kid up front with 2 footballs and a cooler. They're like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." So then you pull it up, and it's got this, like, great look, so you throw the kickstand up there, you just, like, let it sit. You're just like, "Yeah, what's up?" And all the dads start kinda coming from all across the park, like, "What's that? What's
Yeah.
that?" I'm like, "That's an accessory. You can have
Yeah.
one on your bike as well." So
Yes.
it's
Exactly.
pretty cool. There's probably I'd say there's at least 4 or 5 guys in Sloan's Lake that have them. So if you I'll see them and give them like that nod. Give them that
Yeah.
nod, you know?
What the Yeah, we've also got a local bike shop or sorry, a local bookstore that uses an Argo for delivery. They came up with a character and they did the whole thing. And I love that idea of using something that gets so much attention as a form of advertising. So you
Yeah.
can park it out and use it as your open sign, or just leave it anywhere. And if you park it at uh, your neighborhood, I don't know, the library, you're going to get a ton of attention for your business, pictures taken and whatnot. It's pretty
100%.
fun.
It's awesome.
It's a
It's an awesome product.
it's like a practical spectacle.
Absolutely. And it rhymed. Practical spectacle. I like it.
There
So
you
I
go.
know you've got a new Argo that's coming. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So yeah, the first one was like I was ready to make it here in the United States and was really excited about a lot of the ways that we had worked through this. And I know you know some of the story, but I'm going to try to include stuff that you don't know. Um, but we figured out where the actual small parts were going to come from. We arranged for a way to have the boxes cut out, and then we found a place in California that would take the steel and cut it with a laser, so that everything was going to be perfect. There weren't going to have to be a lot of other complications. And then as we started to add up the cost, it was comically higher than what we initially had calculated. Like it was about 3 times higher than what the suppliers had initially told us, even at bulk levels. So went to Taiwan and started working with a trading company there. It was fantastic. They treated me like family and learned a tremendous amount. I learned to swim by being thrown into the water. Um, and this new one, the reason that I'm excited about it is that now that I have a handle on how manufacturing works, I've started to tune in so many little subtleties about it that now the ride is more tuned. It weighs a little less. Things that wore out in generation one are either eliminated or designed out, um, or in some cases upgraded. But when I opened the sample, I I I've heard that thing about you should always try to make your product 10 times better, and this is dramatically more than 10 times better. And then because the manufacturer we're working with is a little bit more efficient, um, the price is only going up a tiny bit, even with all of the huge upgrades. Like we went from cable actuated brakes to hydraulic brakes, and um, upgraded several of the little attachment pieces so that they take a lot less time to actually install. It's just going to make it more fun.
Nice, man. So it's a
Yeah,
full generation upgrade. Like,
correct.
every single component's been worked over, tooled over, and you're getting ready to launch. Now, how soon is the presale going on sale?
The pre-sale will begin in January and carry on probably until April, and then we'll have to do a little bit of pausing so that we we can finalize that first big order and start delivering. And we're going to deliver in the order of when they're ordered.
Cool. And I don't
Yeah.
wanna spill the beans here, but I know that you're gonna do, like, kind of a staged launch so that the people that wanna jump first at the pre-launch are gonna have an
Yes.
opportunity at an unprecedented price.
Correct. Yeah. So newsletter subscribers, which you can just go to argobikes.com, ARGOBIKES.com. Sign up for the newsletter. We're going to keep sending out the newsletter as the pre-sale starts up, and keep reminding people of the deal they can get, because it really we won't be able to afford to go this low again. And it's kind of like that founders edition idea.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's so cool. Okay, and I'll link the link in the show notes. So all you gotta do is just sign up to the newsletter, and then you'll get, like, basically a coupon code. If you wanna jump first, then you're gonna get a serious, incredible discount on this. Now, again, we're talking about a Bach Fix. It's a cargo bike that you turns your bike into a cargo bike. It's awesome. Now, from the customers you've had, what's kind of the ideal kind of customer for the Argo? Who are the people
Mhm.
that are really liking it aside from black belt dads? You know, I've already established
Yeah.
that, like, that's the perfect product for me.
Ye- Yeah. It's been I like to say that it's for people who are interested in being interesting.
Mm,
And it's sort of that thing of, like, when you're in a car, you don't get to stop and talk to someone who has a cool dog. I mean, you can, obviously. But the Argo, it just connects you in a different way. So if the demographic is kind of easy. It's like typically, someone 28 to 50, and um doing pretty well financially, because the Argo is not cheap. It's not a cheap toy. But the main thing is that they're interested in being interested in the world, and it's such a fun way to connect.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great commuter, for folks that are looking. I mean, you know, w- I hate to say it, but my days of, like, long road travel on my bike are probably over. I'm just
Yeah.
too lazy now. So, my my bike is now just like it's the 2, 3 miles around me, and
Yeah.
you put the Argo on, it's like it turns like, going to King Soopers or going to
Yeah.
Whole Foods into, like, the funnest thing you did all day, you know?
One of my favorite things is to have my bike helmet and to bring out, 8 huge bags of groceries, and people are like, are you gonna ride no hands?" And, and then for us to be able to drop all those groceries in, well, my daughter's 13 now, but she would hop in with the groceries and zip home.
Totally, man. It's awesome. So I'm still getting used to Descript, this tool here, but I'm sharing, hopefully this is picking up on the video as well, but I'm just sharing
Yeah.
the website here so you can take a look at what the Argo looks like. And are they all shipping black now? That's pretty sweet too.
So the founders edition, I think, is going to be black. I've got some super secret ideas that are coming soon, but yeah, black is for sure the obvious answer in this case.
Dude, rain canopy is awesome.
Yep.
And I just the most important thing to drill home, and it usually takes a couple of times before the light bulb goes off, is, ladies and gentlemen, this is an accessory. You put your bike into this. It turns your bike into a cargo bike. And I think,
Yeah.
Argo was definitely the first one to do that. I don't see anybody else biting off that. I mean, it makes it so incredibly versatile so that this is in your garage. You want to go to the grocery store, cool. If not, if you want to just go, do a 20 miler, you just pop your original tire on and you're rolling. It's
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's so smart how it comes together.
It is a hard thing to explain to people, but once they get it, it's pretty easy to get them excited about it, because you don't have to do a test ride to make sure that the cargo bike is going to feel good. And then additionally, our price is so much lower than getting a full cargo bike, and it's reversible, so you can go back to your regular bike. And Ryan, this new edition is primarily made to just keep your bike as a cargo bike, as opposed to going back and forth quickly like edition one. And we'll
Yeah,
come out with a kit, because we found a really great vendor who makes a splittable hydraulic brake. So that's going to be coming out probably end of summer
cool. And that's
for
smart.
people
Is
who
that
do
is
want to
that
switch.
Was that largely based on kind of customer feedback where they're like, "Actually, man, I just had this other bike and I just dedicated it to this exact use case."
Yeah, it was about 3 out of 100 that the people were changing it back and forth with some frequency, and almost everybody had only done it. And actually, this is a great point, so thank you for bringing it up, but, uh, if it isn't something that you necessarily wanna switch back and forth, if and when you wanted to drive to another town, they're having a parade, you can you can still divide the cargo bike into 2 pieces and easily fit it into a regular pickup truck or even a
Cool.
station wagon. Whereas a larger cargo bike, you're gonna have to rent a moving truck, and that's the only way you're gonna be able to do it.
Nice. So
Yeah.
if you're taking it to your house in Vale or something like that, you can break that down and just throw it in your what would it be, a 4Runner probably,
Sure.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. My buddy, upgraded a Sprinter van and took his family on a
Yeah,
5-month trip and brought the Argo with him. Everywhere they
sweet.
went, they'd pull out the Argo and explore, that little town, and he said it made the trip way more bearable because it's really hard to have 2 tiny children, in a Sprinter van.
Nice, man. Hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna try and weave in a founder horror story in here, but I think we're gonna have to come back for episode 2. I really wanna make sure that people understand that, like, they need to go to Argo Bikes immediately and sign up on the newsletter so that they can get that discount first. Let's talk about the rest of 2025 briefly while I still got you, and,
Yeah.
like, what's in store for Argo as you're looking. And I know I love your engineer mind, so you're always kind of, like, probably 3 launches away. What are the other projects you're working on as far as Argo in the next coming year?
Um, so with Argo, really the next the next thing that we'll have coming out is a very simple bike that goes with it, that has all the pieces built in already so that it is something you can order to your house, put it together, and you'll be riding in 30 to 45 minutes after it arrives. Given that, you have a very minimal number of tools. Um,
Mhm.
that's the main thing we're working on, and the level of complication of getting a bike made, it's not harder than the cargo bike, but because of the complications with the bike industry right now, that might become my personal hellscape. We'll see.
What's going on? Is there some kind of, like, mafia shenanigans going on in the bike industry?
S so um, the pandemic created, I've been calling it a yo-yo, but essentially, um, 2020, you couldn't get a bicycle, and everybody wanted one, and the price went up and up, and, every company was ordering more bikes than they needed to order, because if you call one bike company and they don't have a bike, you call the next one to see if they have the bike, and you call the next one, and this was happening on repeat, layer after layer, and so what we ended up seeing was, what was that? November of 22, everything arrived from the previous 18 months. And so, when I tried to reorder the Argo in, summer of 21, the the lead time was 24 months for brake pads. That was the one piece that we couldn't get in order
24
to produce them.
months.
24 months. And
Whoa.
I got a call back, of course, like 5 months later that they were ready for my order, and by then I had already turned the I had decided that I wanted to go straight into just doing the engineering, so that's what we've been doing is rebuilding with the aluminum instead of the steel. Um, that was kind of a bit of a hellscape, trying to figure out how to navigate that and keep a company alive when you actually can't get any product. But the bike industry itself, there's lots of bike shops closing. Everybody here, if you have a bicycle, go get it tuned up. Like if everybody will go get a tune up from their local bike shop, it's shocking how important that is. Um, because we're losing a foundational um, piece of our culture, in my opinion. The local bike
Couldn't
shop.
agree more. Scott, I'm gonna have to leave it here for now, and we'll come
Yeah,
back. We're gonna do a second episode for sure,
I
but
love it.
I'm gonna make a personal endorsement. I'm your biggest fan. I'm customer number 3. The Argo is here to stay. It's so cool. People have to check it out, and I want to implore, particularly my audience, which is 7 and 8 figure business owners that I know in the pandemic, you went and got a Peloton like everybody else, and you've been hammering on that Peloton for 4 years now. You got some legs behind you. Use that for the Argo. You are in a perfect position now. You're an animal. What, are you just going to ride your bike in the corner of your living room forever? No, man, come on. You got to grab the Argo and take it outside.
And put your brand right on the box.
Put your
logo right on the box.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody will know where you are.
Really appreciate it, buddy. We'll come back and we'll do round 2 and learn more about Argo.
That sounds great.
Thanks, pal.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right, Denver folks, this one's for you. If you love this city as much as I do, you've got to go over to realgooddenver.com. This is a newsletter, it's a podcast, it's a whole vibe. On the podcast, What's Good Denver, we dive into the things that make Denver, well, Denver. We're talking about restaurant recommendations, local founders, events, and just all around inspiring people that have helped shape the culture in Denver, Colorado. And if you're all about discovering hidden gems, big ideas, and the heartbeat that make Denver, Denver, this is the podcast and newsletter for you. Whether you're a lifelong local like me or new to the Denver area, this is your inside guide to all things Denver. So check out realgooddenver.com and listen to the podcast, subscribe to the newsletter. Trust me, it's everything you love about Denver in one place. That's realgooddenver.com. Now back to the show.